So, next topic. I believe that CNN will help Trump get reelected in 2024. Again, here, you did not mishear me. I believe that CNN and other liberal left-leaning outlets will help Trump get reelected in 2024. And you may be thinking, what a fucking idiot. And you're not wrong in some cases. I definitely am an idiot, but not in this case, I believe. And let me lay out an argument for you. So outlets like CNN, MSNBC, Vox, they had their highest ratings when Trump was in office because Trump was on Twitter. He was constantly spewing out bullshit, tweets. Some of them were funny. A lot of them were just ego, arrogance, vomit into the ethosphere, which is the norm for Twitter. Really, it's just 97% of it is verbal vomit. But Trump being in office pushed the ratings of CNN through the roof because they always had content to go against Trump. That Trump was, in effect, the executive producer of CNN while he was in office because he was essentially producing the show with the things he was doing. Because whether you hate Trump or you love Trump or you're indifferent, you were tuning in to watch what he was doing. And for the people that hated Trump, they were tuning in on CNN to see the things that he did, the things that he was tweeting that they didn't like. And for the people that loved Trump, they were also watching CNN because they wanted to see, what is this, let's see what they're going to say today about him, the Fox News people would head over to CNN and see, let's see the bullshit they're going to see today about my guy. And there was a crisscross. It's not just the right coming over to the left. There are people on the left that watch Fox News and are like, let's see what they're gonna say today about my girl Kamala. Let's see what they're gonna say today. So my point is that if you take a media outlet like CNN, which needs viewers to stay alive, because mainstream media, corporate media, because CNN is not mainstream anymore, let's be honest, there are small to mid-sized YouTube channels that pull in more views than CNN does on a daily basis. But corporate media like CNN is dying, and they value views and profit over political affiliation because they're not railing against Trump out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because it was getting views. That if you put Trump in the title of a CNN video, people are going to lose their fucking minds because they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. So CNN will have an interesting line to balance if Trump runs for re-election in 2024, which he probably will. They will have an interesting line to balance because CNN deeply, deeply does not want to support Trump. But at the same time, it's in CNN's best interest for Trump to get reelected from a views and a profit standpoint, is that they're anemic. Their ratings are anemic with Joe Biden in office because he's a skeleton and he doesn't do anything. There's nothing newsworthy that Joe Biden does. He's not... He whispers and he sleeps and he strokes girls' hair and he occasionally gets in front of the camera when they probably give him a main line of Adderall to the neck so he can stand in front of the camera for 45 minutes and then he collapses back into his hospital bed. But the point is, that's not interesting. CNN knows that the most popular they've ever been was when Trump was in office, whether they liked him or not. They knew that having him in the headlines would get Trump or having the name Trump in the headlines, putting out stories about his tweets, like people either loved or hate watched. And they need CNN's best case for survival, for staying at the top of corporate media, because like I said, there are other sources of mainstream media with independent creators that are blowing CNN out of the water, literally. They need Trump to get elected, so they'll have an interesting line to balance of saying that they're anti-Trump, but at the same time wanting him to get elected for their ratings. So I've taken the liberty to write out a few of CNN's possible takes talking about Trump in 2023, leading up to the 2024 election. Because they will have to be anti-Trump up front, but then they'll also have to be a little bit pro-Trump on the tail end to get him into office. Because again, CNN's about money, CNN's about profit. They're political only up to the point where it loses them money. And then up to that point, they're going to do what they have to do. So here's some example takes that CNN will take on Trump in order to seem like they're against Trump, but also trying to get him reelected at the same time. Here's CNN's take on the Capitol riots. It's terrible that Trump incited people to rush the Capitol on January 6th. It was terrible. The scene of people rushing a government building and getting inside and destroying grave, statues and sitting on desks and taking dumps in the Oval Office and doing all these despicable, horrific things. It was absolutely terrible that Trump incited people to rush the Capitol on January 6th. But also, only a true leader could inspire people to take that action. Did you see the way he tweeted those people into a shitstorm and got them to rally together and stand together and take shits on the Capitol steps dressed in patriotic gear? That takes a true leader who maybe shouldn't be a part of this country, who maybe shouldn't lead this country. I'll give him that. But he is a true leader and he incites people, and he's no bullshit. He's not like He's not like Kamala. He's no bullshit. So I'm not saying he should be the president of the United States, but also I'm saying, should he? I don't know. You decide for yourself. Please, God, reelect him. And that's CNN's take on the Capitol riots. They'll have to toe that line of, yes, we have to come out against him up front, but also we need him to get reelected for the ratings. Let's be honest. Our ratings are through the roof. Let's do another take. This is CNN's take on Trump building the wall. How awful. How disgusting for Trump to build a wall, the symbol of separation and disunity on the southern border. He is tearing people apart with this wall. But you know what else a wall symbolizes? Strength, security. I'm surrounded by 4 walls right now, recording this podcast, and they keep me intact. Sure, this building could collapse at any time, and I could be in grave danger should the architect have made mistakes. But while things are working and while things are staying structurally intact, like the United States of America, for now, we'll see what happens, I am protected by these walls. Sure, it separates me from my neighbors. Sure, it keeps other people out. Sure, walls can disunify. But what they also do is they bring people together. They fucking bring people. They secure people. They keep people in the same spot, and they symbolize strength and unity. And that is what CNN will have to say about the wall. All right, let's do one more. Let's do Trump's take on Stormy Daniels. Can't say her name because she's so goddamn hot. She actually is pretty attractive. I did see a picture of her, and for a long time I didn't know what Stormy Daniels looked like, but you know what? She can get it. Here's CNN's take on Stormy Daniels, the Stormy Daniels Trump situation. Again, they have to toe this line of berating Trump but also supporting him for those ratings, baby. So here's CNN's take on Stormy Daniels. What a scumbag Trump is to have an affair with Stormy Daniels and pay her $130K to keep her mouth shut. Pay her $130K for an NDA to not talk about an affair that Trump had with Stormy Daniels while he was married. That is absolutely untrustworthy and despicable behavior by the president, no less, of the United States. But maybe that's what this country needs. More people keeping their mouths shut and keeping their heads to the grindstone to focus on hard work, to focus on doing things right. Less talking, more working, and working hard, like Trump's cock inside Stormy Daniels when he was telling her to keep her goddamn mouth shut and pull her pants down so they can get at it. The hard work of giving good pipe to a porn star, that's what this country needs. It's what this country wants. And it's what we're going to get. CNN right now, the network that I'm talking to you on, is going to hit you with that hard pipe. That hard pipe of news because Trump's in office and all of our pipes are fully gorged, ready to go to bang you in the mouth with Trump content. And that is why we need him to get reelected. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I would like it to happen. I don't like Trump, but I like what he does to my show. So yeah. If you want to fuck Stormy Daniels, fuck Stormy Daniels. If you want to pay someone to keep their mouth shut, pay them to keep their mouth shut. Pay me to keep my mouth shut. I'm up here on CNN talking 3 hours a day about shit that I don't know. Just give me a check and I'll shut the fuck up. Then I'll go talk about something I actually want to talk about. And that right there is what CNN will have to become to get Trump reelected. They will have to be like, yeah, we fucking hate Trump. He's not for us. But also, is he though? Is he? Have you looked at our ratings in 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017, and then they drop off a cliff with Biden? And so CNN knows what has to be done. The question is, how transparent will they be about Trump getting reelected in the 2024 presidency? Because again, they're not going to go against profit. They're not going to go against ratings. And they just had 4 years of their ratings being through the fucking roof. And they are dying now. They are anemic. They can't even get 50,000 views on a YouTube video. Hundreds of millions of dollars behind them, and they can't even get 50K views on a YouTube video. And if they do, it's disliked out the asshole, bitch. Which, by the way, you can't even see anymore because YouTube banned dislikes. So, lucky for them. But people at CNN know. They know what they have to do. They know it has to be done. And so it'll be interesting to see them kind of like, are they just gonna go full Trump for the ratings? Because they want people to hate Trump, but they also want him to be in office. So it's a tough line to toe, and I don't envy it, because that's what happens when you have a pretend job like the vice president, or you have a pretend job like being a host on CNN, is that you can't be transparent about what you want. You can't be like, hey, listen, we don't like Trump. Like, we don't like him. We're just going to be upfront about him, but we want you to elect him, because it's good for us, and you'll keep watching the show. And honestly, it's fucking fun to read his Twitter. I'm not going to lie. There are times when I laugh at his Twitter and I get up on CNN and I have to stop myself from laughing, because I need to stay serious all the time for you about how much I hate this guy. But in reality, he pays my bills. So it's like this thin line. This thin line to cross as a working for any lefty, liberal network. Because you can't just come out and say it. You can't just be like, fucking hate him, but it's good for ratings. I can. I can say it. Yeah, sometimes I talk about things that I hate. Sometimes I talk about things because I know it'll be an interesting conversation or an interesting monologue. And I talk about a lot of things that I disagree with, or I bring up a lot of points, even just argue a counterpoint for the sake of it. Not because I necessarily agree with it, but because I think it's funny and interesting, and I'm also trying to entertain myself. And I have the freedom to do that as an independent podcaster, and that's why I think those independent platforms are surpassing the corporate media. So CNN's in trouble. I do honestly think, though, that they will get him reelected in 2024, and I look forward to actually watching their segments and being interested to how they're going to handle this juxtaposition